David, the world's in upheaval, no doubt. Things like in France, things like in Belgium and Netherlands, you see things in the U.S. deteriorating. Australia, New Zealand, of course, they're having the potential issues, but and also the East and things in the Middle East. It's going pretty haywire. But in France, the protest continues. They take over the BlackRock office again. They begin to shout and they begin to protest. This has been going on for, if people didn't know, France has been going like this for like 5 years since the Yellow Vest protests began. And it's about the economy. It's about the overplay of Macron on the, basically bypassing the courts. It's his way or the highway. Now, the Europe, or at least France, is using drone technology to not only surveillance, digital technology to facial recognition, but a lot of this is the protest. The people don't want what's coming, and that is the digital euro. That is the World Economic Forum mandates. That is the International Monetary Fund mandates. The push for universal basic income. Europe seems to be at this point the hub of protest because they pushed it and they've gone very far into it. As we've seen last week, Christine Lagarde from the IMF was talking to, funny enough, was an AI that she thought it was Zelensky, and she's pushing this idea that it's going to be control. It's illegal already in some places to use cash up to a certain amount. So, what do you make of this? What's really the boiling point at this particular moment in Europe?
Well, of course, it's controlled by the government to tell the people what they're going to be doing and how they'll be living. And just like the truckers that were protesting, an emergency order went in, bank accounts were seized, and the protest was over. We could well see under emergency powers that Macron has been implementing already to make the retirement age higher, which has infuriated people because they're up against the bumping post and want to retire with nice benefits and everything, but he's raised it, and so it's a goal that is a little bit out of reach. And so they're upset, and then also they're all concerned about the control, the farms over there. Everywhere is chaos, and so people are trying to stand against this, which is the right thing to do. But when they pull this trigger on the digital currency, and more than likely under an emergency order, there won't be able to protest. You'll have no money to you if you don't go to work, they'll cut you off. That's just like what happened in China when the COVID. They just then moved from a digital currency into a social score. If you want to go somewhere, if you got a red light on your phone, you're not going. And so they're right in what they want to do, but it's late in the hour, and these people and the government is marching on. Lagarde is talking about a vote on this in October, and like this stuff is coming this year, and other countries coming this year.
Yeah. Hey, Jay, we used to watch dystopian videos and movies when I was younger, and you see these things coming along, and you thought, wow, this is sometime in the future, or maybe even just fictional stories. But it's here. It is here. The most bizarre remarks, as David was talking about, Christine Lagarde, it gave me migraines to just think about what she said. And of course, some people protest, but the majority of the world is just going like, well, they either say it'll never happen, or they will say, well, this might be good because I already don't carry cash anyway. So to a younger generation, what is cash? Is just a normal, just evolutionary process to what it's inevitable. It's just, we already carry cash. It's only about 10% of the physical currency that backs up and here in the States, physical currency is about 10% of the total economic growth and economic assets. So is this a done deal in Europe, US? It's just something that as Christians, we have to get used to the idea that it's digital currency is here to stay.
To really understand, digital currency really isn't, a convenience thing. It's really about freedom. If you have cash, you have the freedom to purchase anything you want when you want.
Yeah.
The moment it becomes numbers, that someone else doles out to you on a basis of, whatever they want. It's taken you control and financial freedom out of your hands, and it's placed it into, let's say, like a trustee. You know, you have people that will be your guardian. Like, remember Lindsay Lohan's father? He
Yeah.
would make sure he would manage the funds for his child to make sure that she didn't overspend, she didn't go broke. And in a lot of cases, these parents that were in guardianship over the child star's money ended up embezzling it. Well, it's plain to see that the banks of the world already do that. The banks are financially irresponsible with your money. They keep less than, what is it, 1% on hand now.
Yeah.
So, money is basically play money. So why not? You, you're not gonna own nothing, and you're gonna like it.
Yeah, and that's really what they said, and over and over again, and people thought it was just sort of hyperbole, but I think they really mean that. Lagarde said, this is about the Eurozone, that the Eurozone cannot possibly go bankrupt because they simply can print as much money as they need to.
Speaking of Lagarde, real quick, have you ever noticed, Marco, with Lagarde and other people who are the head of these banks that are pushing this digital currency? They're people you would never want to talk to about technology and the internet. In fact, they would probably call it the interwebs, and they probably, well, don't I need a AOL disk to be able to access my money?
Yes, and here's Microsoft 3.0. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's the most bizarre. People that are making the laws, people that are passing these laws, have no clue what's going on. And no clue what's going on, either what the Web3 is about anyway. So in plain English, they can never run out of money because they simply can print it. This is like what the Federal Reserve said here. We can print into infinitum. David, the Federal Reserve's been printing money for a long time, but in the last 3 years, they printed, 3 decades worth of money. I mean, it's just unbelievable that they could do this, not just in the Eurozone, not just in the US, but it was true of Australia, New Zealand. It was true of the major G7 economies. I mean, it's irreversible, don't you think? I mean, the amount of money that they printed.
The amount of money that, well, it's not even printed no more. I mean, that's an old saying. Actually, it's just inventing zeros and ones and putting them in your account. Oh, here's $100 billion, just like that. It costs money to print. So it is, and the ability to think that they can produce wealth out of nothing is going to be the ultimate downfall of all of this. Because one day somebody will say, well, there is no wealth, and people will lose faith in the system. That these people believe they're making a world where they can be like Star Trek. Everything is perfect and wonderful, and you can make food out of nothing and digits and things like this and all sorts of spacecraft and everything, and everybody is evolved upwards. Well, it seems to me everything is devolving downwards, and that's where this is taking us. It's to enslavement.